to level 5 from 2016 to 2018. It's comparing us to the, just all along for the years. This is showing our percentage changes from level 1 and 2, and they're comparing us to the state as well in this slide.
So what stands out, just for the record, and again, as you can see, if you go to 8th grade with me all the way to the right-hand column, we show a 9.3% increase from level 4 to 5. Look at grade 7, 8.1% increase. So there are some
Well, there's
positives.
definitely some positives, there's definitely some increases along the way, but there's always work to be done. Okay, this is the same slide, and again, they are showing the percentages for mathematics. They're showing the different trends. This slide again is comparing the number of students from 2018 to from 17 to 18. And it's going across again for ELA, showing what the difference is. And we have more students taking this test overall. The same with the mathematics. We overall are having more students take the test, we're plus 48 through the district. This is our score, it's really 2018 compared to the state. And you could see there are some areas where the state is definitely higher than we are, and those are areas that we want to address, and we want to meet what the state percentages are, because that's the average of all the students in 3rd grade throughout the state. Then we compare it to our district. Same for mathematics, algebra 1, 2, and 3, and geometry, excuse me. I think the graphs, I think the visuals are much easier to take a look at. This is showing the cross-state, New Jersey and Lindbergh and the high school. The cross-states are the other states that use the part test, and there are not too many people, too many states using it any longer. Then we have New Jersey, and then we have our schools. And we're pretty close to, to the state where in some areas, we're better than the cross states as well. This is a great graph to take a look at. Again, it's a visual.
Question,
Yeah.
why is the deficiency compared with the state?
Well, this is
For
where,
this English
Well,
language?
in
Yeah,
what,
this
in what
is-
grade, Paul?
Well, pretty much a lot.
Because
Like
5th grade we are
4,
exceeding.
6,
Yeah.
7, 8, 9, 10, and 11.
So there are many factors, and without making excuses, I would eliminate 10 and 11, because if a student successfully passed grade 9, they don't have to pass 10 or 11. And again, this is many factors and why there's not much credence or credibility placed in the PARCC assessments anymore. I have English teachers here shaking their head.
That's not a very good, yeah, I agree.
That's not good, what, explanation?
No,
Oh.
not explanation,
Oh.
the test itself.
Yeah, well, again, and the point is, if you pass grade 9 ELA, you have satisfied your English language arts requirement for graduation. The student may not put as much emphasis in grade 10 or 11. In addition, if they satisfy the requirement by way of PSAT or SAT, they don't need this. Again, students, as we all know, as adults, I don't know many adults that like to take standardized tests. Students like it even less. The real valuable piece here is, we don't have the issue that many other schools have with regard to the opt-out, which was the very, very big issue in a lot of places. We're showing increases in students assessed. We're showing increases, which is valid for our test scores in a sense. We can address any gaps that may exist, because at the very least, we have a true reflection of our students.
correct. And one more slide
data.
Okay. So do you want us to do the,
Sure. So what we're taking a look at here is our district as a whole, and we're breaking it down by subgroup. So we can see how our students from specific populations are performing by grade level. So the data here is showing some disparity. And what this allows us to do is recognize that disparity, but now tailor strategies for specific subgroups to increase student achievement. So this is a key slide here. We recognize that we have a very diverse community, and we recognize that those populations require different supports. So this will allow for us to tailor those supports to that particular subgroup's needs. Here we see our economically disadvantaged students' performance versus our non-economically disadvantaged students' performance. And again, a degree of disparity here. So we can see that our students who are at an economic disadvantage consistently underperform as compared to their peers. So again, looking at this data allows for us to craft strategies to reach a specific population. Here we have our IEP students, those are our special needs population, versus our students without an IEP, or our general education population. And again, we see that the two groups of students are performing at very different levels of achievement. I'm sorry, if you'll go back just one moment. You'll see that 504 is listed in the key. 504 students are not included on this graph because it was such a small number that we would be readily identifying those students, so they have been edited out from the achievement results. Here we see our ELL population versus our non-ELL population. And again, the results are striking. I'm sorry? ELL, or English language learners. Yep, so these would be students in our ESL support classes from grades 3 to 11. And again, this is the ELA, or English Language Arts performance piece. And we see here that we are still in need of support. Here's our math graph. As Ms. Baumgart presented earlier, with ELA, we see students' performance across states, in New Jersey, and here in district. And this is comparing our performance here in district to those in New Jersey and then the broader nation performance.
This is going to be the same ethnicity and the same subgroups, but now this is in mathematics, so this is by the ethnic category.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's the same as the ELA.
Right.
Why is the Spanish subgroup the lowest concerning that?
I'm sorry, one more time.
Right there.
I think without being, and this is something that I've unfortunately raised my voice a little bit to at Department of Education level meetings and county meetings, I believe that subgroups are a way of profiling, and I'm not necessarily sure that the Hispanics who come to our schools with very limited education, being overage and undereducated, potentially not having parents who speak, read, or write the English language, are offering the same type of support as some of the groups that we can see are far exceeding that. We, if you remember, last winter, unfortunately, were given the beautiful distinction of being a target school at the junior, senior high school because of our test scores, because of absenteeism. It's clearly a diverse community. It's something that we are all trying to work our very best to address these deficiencies. Again, if there's a positive, we know what areas need much attention without neglecting the others.
Again, I think economically disadvantaged students. This is the mathematics versus non-economic disadvantage. So students with IEPs versus students without an IEP. Here's our ELL subgroup. A little better in mathematics. next slide, this is the standardized test that the ELL students take. It's called the access test, and these are the proficiency levels. Entering, emerging, developing, expanding, bridging, or reaching. Again, the results focus on listening, speaking, reading, writing, oral language, literacy, comprehension, and the overall score reflects 35% for reading and 35% for writing, 15% for both listening and speaking. And this is the overall scores of our ELL students from kindergarten to grade 12. And again, we want our students to be getting up to that bridging level and that reaching level, and then they test out of the ESL program and they don't get those services, but they still need support throughout their courses, because a student with the oral language may be developing that much more quickly than they develop the content vocabulary and content knowledge.
Guys, and what's really alarming if you just focus on the kindergarten and see that number of 60. Because those are children that are entering our schools, potentially for the first time, speaking in language other than English as their primary language. And for a school district that approximately has 150 kids in a kindergarten, when you add your special needs population to that number of 60, I would venture to say our ELLs and special needs is more than 50% of your total population in kindergarten.
This next slide is dynamic learning maps, and this is an alternative assessment for students who have a significant cognitive disability. This would be in their individual education plan, in their IEP, that they would be taking this type of a test. It's testlets, it's short parts of the test. Again, the achievement levels emerging, approaching the target, at target, and advanced. But we're not going to report on this because there's too few students and we have to maintain confidentiality, but the students and their parents do get these reports. The next two slides are Lindbergh's plan. What are we doing to address some of it? And we come up with a lot. Every year we're looking for something different. We're looking for something more. One of the main things we do, we analyze evidence tables. We get the evidence tables from the state, and it shows what questions many of our students had incorrect. It lists the questions from the most difficult to the easiest. So we analyze this data, and then we find activities that would address that weakness. We have a lot of professional development this year. Another thing, teachers will learn about technology-enhanced instruction. Again, analyze data collection to create engaging and differentiated lessons and assessments for the 21st century classroom. ST Math, which is a visual instructional program that builds a deep conceptual understanding of math through rigorous and creative problem solving, has now been added to the grade 3 curriculum. It's presently used in K1 and 2. This is a great program for our ELL learners because it's not language-based at all. It takes that barrier away. And the students are using Chromebooks and solving puzzles. And there's no word problems in it, and they continue to try, and they really build a lot of stamina in this program, and they really like the program. We'll continue our math journals in all grade levels. Again, we're trying to increase the rigor of those problems. We have a new resource called Power Up to Par. We just rolled that out to our staff today, and they're going to look through many of these multi-step problems, and we're going to target certain areas. The next one, targeted assistant classes to address individual student needs in mathematics, ELA, and an ESL newcomers group. These classes meet from 8 or 8:05 to 8:25, and this is when teachers are giving their extra help, but we change the extra help to a more targeted classroom. This will be fluid. We'll have different classes, we'll have different cycles, and we'll be addressing the needs of the students in ELA and mathematics. And I'm very happy about this ESL newcomers group that will have like first, second, and third grade, and fourth, fifth, and sixth, and these are the newest students to come to Lindbergh School. They'll be coming and they'll be learning with ESL teachers. And you might say that doesn't seem like so long, 8 to 8:25, but that small group and that individualized instruction is very valuable. In our fifth and sixth grade, we're implementing reading fundamentals. It's a reader's workshop program. We do reader's workshop. This is a newer program. They actually use it in K as well. We're implementing it, we hope, next year in grades 1 to 4. Dr. Cirillo mentioned about the curriculum. We are reviewing all of our curriculum. We're addressing the gaps in the curriculum. We're going to kind of change our curriculum, change the whole format. It's going to be more geared towards units of study. And in the curriculum will be many modifications to address our special needs, whether it be the special education student, the ESL student, the gifted and talented student. We don't want to lose those really high achievers either. So that's what we're doing, and it's a big task, but we're starting it this year. Our ESL teachers are meeting monthly at their PLCs to strengthen the teaching practices. They'll be using some formative assessments such as the Words Their Way inventories and DRA word analysis tasks to drive the instruction. We've been doing a lot of different incentives to encourage student attendance. If we can get the students into school as often as possible, they're going to do better. So we have really worked very hard to create different kinds of incentives for our attendance. And again, we're also looking at incentives such as Study Island. This is a computer-based ELA and math program, RAS Kids. We did a vocabulary parade last year, so we continue to try to explore different ways of just giving our environment a real rich literacy environment. We're focusing on the math as well, because we'd like to pilot some kind of a new program for next year. So these are just some of the things that we're doing at Lindbergh. I wanted to highlight those programs. This is the high school.
So for grades 7 through 12, I think one of the most critical pieces here is going to be making information like results you saw this evening accessible to our teachers. And not just providing raw data, but perhaps providing corresponding visuals that provide a very quick and easy scan of student performance. So we can readily identify areas in need of support and make sure that we're providing those appropriate supports. So teachers are currently receiving and have received previously training on incorporating park-style assessments into their lessons. And these are everyday lessons, including leveled multiple choice style questions, narrative and literary analysis, and research simulation tasks. These are our all park-style assessment pieces. And the key here is practice, and you practice and you practice. Students identified as at risk of underachievement on PARCC are placed in a study skills class which focuses on improving reading, writing, and math skills. So for example, there is a geometry class with a geometry curriculum. There is a corresponding geometry study skills class which supports the core geometry curriculum. All course objectives and materials are aligned to PARCC and Common Core state standards and objectives. A reading and writing aid course was added to the curriculum, adding an additional half-year language arts course for our 8th graders. An ESL teacher is now assigned to select science and history classes for additional support. So it's not just ELA and math, because data has shown that students need support in all curricular areas in order to achieve. And we must continue to stress that all teachers, regardless of content area, are literacy and writing teachers. This is a core philosophy. We have to continue to stress this, but we also have to provide supports to our teachers for these strategies. So elective courses offered in English, history, and math are aligned with PARCC-style questioning, further reinforcing appropriate skills and objectives. ESL math courses are now offered to reach our ELL population. Lessons in ESL math are designed to help students understand the same basic math terminology and concepts that their non-ESL peers are learning. Same content, same curriculum, different delivery. All teachers are available for extra help after school every day, except Wednesdays, and many of our teachers further proving their dedication to our student success are working with our students before school to support their achievement. As a credit to our staff, I must say, in my short tenure here, since I've arrived in September, the faculty is key. And our faculty are deeply dedicated to supporting student achievement. It's incredibly evident, even this early on, and I hope to continue to support that and allow for them to help to continue our growth trend with our student population.
We keep asking more and more and more of our teachers, and they continue to step up to the plate and do whatever is asked of them, and everyone is really working very, very hard. If you visit our schools, you'll see that there's great things going on in our classrooms. And these are just some parent resources. That's the end of the presentation.
Yay to your teachers.
Yeah, Jason.
Jason?
I'm hearing many not that positive but negative nuance from the parents that we are not doing well. So when I ask them exactly where are we doing not well, they cannot pinpoint exactly where, but they're just comparing with our magazines ranking of the schools. Just the percentage of how many people are passing the parks, just the superficial numbers like that. You know, I have a two thought about those kind of response from the parents. I'm sure the level of education in each town actually represent the value of, not all, but value of the community that they are living in. So I'm sure that many parents wants to push our level up in educational level. As a member of the board, I'm having some hard thought that, you know, as an outside person in terms of not inside of the school system, what else can we do? So easy answer is just pressure Joe, pressure our superintendent. Because after all, he is the last person, he is the main person. I know that in our school, all the teachers are doing excellent job and working very hard on their best ability of their best. But the result doesn't show sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes that does not reflect how hard our teachers are working it. And the result doesn't show that how hard our students are working on it. So I was thinking that what else can we do as a board, and what else can we do, and what can I pressure our superintendent so we can have a better result. So maybe I'm suggesting that to get us some result from the education, that we need a long-term plan. I'm suggesting Joe that maybe we should have some kind of task force, some kind of things that what else can we do? What are we missing? I know we have a diverse community, that's for sure. So what does that mean? What other things can we